Okay, great. Should I start? Okay. I don't know. Well, I'll start anyway. Good morning, everyone. My name is Alvyn. I'm the CEO and co-founder at the company Algama. Well, lucky for me, that's the first time I had a full presentation ready to show, and I see that I don't have anything to show it. So I'm going to do things a bit differently, and maybe there's a chance to do it maybe a bit interactively. So first of all, can I ask you a question? You're here because you saw maybe that we are going to speak about protein of microalgae. How many of you know about microalgae? Maybe a raising hand. How many of you know products from microalgae? Okay, so you know the algae, but none of you know any products from algae. That's really interesting. Actually, I'm surprised. So what? I'll start to talk about the company then. Algama is a company that makes ingredients and products from algae because we realized that algae was very interesting for many reasons. I was taking algae myself as food supplement because I was working a lot, looking for the green stuff that will keep me awake. And spirulina, one kind of microalgae, was very helpful. That's a food supplement you can find everywhere. A lot of protein, a lot of vitamins, a lot of minerals. That's super rich and super green, and very sustainable. So I was taking that with my co-founder. He had a bad situation at this time because he had a surgery, and his surgeon and nutritionist recommended to him to take spirulina as well. It helped to recover. It helped so much that we decided to do something about it, because by this time, it was 6 years ago, we couldn't find any products on the market, anything with algae in it. We could find a powder, we couldn't find the tablets, we could find the food supplement basically, but if we wanted to have this great ingredient somewhere, we couldn't find anything. So that's how we decided to create Algama. So Algama, the first thing we did was to say, okay, algae is green, quite as a taste that is not very good, quite fishy. It's also a smell of fish food, basically. So we have to do something about that, because when we buy food products, we like to buy a very good tasting product. This is the very first reason we buy a product usually. I'm pretty sure right here some people are buying products that will be better for them and will be better for our planet, but most of the people in the world, they just don't. It's changing, that's very fortunate, but they usually don't. So we wanted to make algae available, to do something that will make algae taste better. And we just thought, well, if we can make algae taste good, basically, we can sell a lot of products with that. Well, that was wrong, because actually algae does not only taste bad, it's also very unstable, it's also very expensive. It's a product with a lot of issues when you want to push a product to the market. So that's how we try to understand the hard way how to actually valorize this ingredient. We did develop many processes to actually transform the algae, and we had to think about what kind of product can we make right now so we can make it available. And this is how we came up with our very first products. Since I have my grocery bags with me, I can show you a little bit. That's the first product we've launched. This is vegan mayonnaise. This is vegan mayonnaise that we've made from algae. This one here has half the fat, half the calories, no preservatives, no gluten, no actually nothing wrong in this mayo. So we managed to use a process thanks to the algae to make the emulsion, and we have a whole range of mayo that is available right now in Paris and New York on shelf, and that's one way to show, well, we can do something with algae. We have something else. Actually, I have a bunch of stuff, but I'm not going to show everything. But that's the second product. Different brand, different product. This is Spring Wave. This is a beverage. This is the first antioxidant beverage from algae. This is a blue beverage. The challenge here was to make the algae stable. When you put algae into a solution, it will basically be very unstable. So we managed to create a process to make it stable over time without any preservatives, and to make it, well, shelf stable to fit with the industry needs. So I'm showing you two products, and well.
Is the beverage a source of protein? Does it have any protein?
Well, good question. This beverage is not rich in protein because we need to make a low-calorie beverage. But there's protein, there's algae protein in it. We can do exactly the same beverage with a lot of protein. We do have another version, but this one is a low-calorie beverage. So just a little bit of protein to make it antioxidant, because that's from one kind of protein into the microalgae, the phycobility protein, that is highly antioxidant, bringing this aspect to the beverage, and that's how we conceive this one, but we have many. And what I wanted to show with this product and with the story I'm explaining right here is that we can do a lot with algae because it has up to 70% of protein. So this is what I call usually the world champion of protein. You don't find anything like that in the nature. That's actually the highest rate compared to the mass of the full ingredients. It's also the most sustainable, sustainable ingredients you can find, because it will take 300 times less farmland than beef to produce the same amount of protein, 50 times less water, 50 times less energy. So it makes it very interesting to grow. But we see the limits, and the main limits that we've seen at Algama is that it's not available. Basically, it's not available to everyone. When we thought about what we wanted to do, we realized that algae was interesting, but at the same time we wanted to bring something different to the world of food industry. And algae actually meets actually several aspects that we think are necessary to create new products. First of all, it's plant-based. It's a vegan product basically. It's also natural. That's something that we like at Algama, because we like to think that somehow the nature is, well, pretty good. And we love this planet, and we think that we can find many interesting solutions when we look at the planet. And algae, microalgae especially, at the very basis of the food chain. The very basis also of all plants we can find on Earth. It's also at the very basis of the atmosphere that we're breathing on Earth, and we just thought, well, that's actually a very interesting stuff. We need to work on that, because it's natural, because it's plant-based, but also it's available. We have many producers. I'm not producing any algae. We're not doing it at all, because there are over 4,000 producers in the world that are producing several strains of algae. You can find up to 70,000 strains of algae, known and unknown right now, and just a few produced for the food industry, mainly for the ingredients, mainly for the food supplements, sorry, and for some ingredients. And seeing that this mass of biomass was available, but we couldn't see anything on the market, we wanted to be the catalyst. So we basically transform the algae, formulate the products, and make it available at full scale. So then we can provide ingredients and technology to the food companies and ingredient companies in the world, thanks to this algae. So linking the supply to the consumer, basically. Well, I have a ton of stuff I want to say about it, but I'm not sure about the timing. Maybe if you have questions already, we can move to that. Yes, because.
So you said that algae might have a problem with flavor and all flavors. So how do you solve that problem of green color flavors and self-destruction, for example?
Yes. Well, I said it's for us, it's all in the process, mainly in the process, because, well, when we transform the algae, you don't have necessarily the color or the flavor that you have in the whole algae. So that's the first step. And if you try anything like, if you eat product with wheat or whatever, you won't have this exact taste that you will have in nature from the actual product. So that's exactly the same. In any industry, you have to transform the very basic ingredient to make an ingredient for the food industry. That's what we do. And that's how we don't have the same color, only a green color. We have a full range of colors. And as you can see, the mayonnaise is not green. and the beverage is not green either. So this is all in the process and the technology that we are developing within the company. Yes?
Do you offer the ingredient, or do you offer the work to make a finished product? What is the difference?
Okay, so the question about the business, what we offer, it's, well, we offer the ingredient mainly, because right now we've developed, Sorry?
So you don't offer the ingredient?
We do offer the ingredients, but we also work on the product concept. So meaning that when we this product right here, we don't sell the product ourselves. It's on the market. There's another company that we actually also co-own, but that's selling the product and buying the ingredient for us. But we did develop the whole thing. We did develop the product. We do work on the innovation. We have a range of 4 mayonnaise right now, and it's going to be a full range of 15 condiments in 2 years, and we do that. So we work on the products, and but we sell the ingredient mainly.
And that ingredient is available here in the US?
Yes. We have 2 offices. We have an office in Paris and an office in the US, so we can provide products and ingredients in both countries right now very easily, and so far it's the only countries where we are. Yes.
In terms of cost, how does the cost of this mayonnaise compare to the regular? Is it more expensive?
Yes, that's a best question. So the question about cost. It's basically market price. That's a vegan mayo, and most of the vegan mayos that you can find in the US right now will be between $6 and $8 a jar. So this is where we are. Our product is actually very interesting. In France, we sell it €2 a jar. And what's very interesting about our products is that we managed to create something that is not only from algae, not only innovative because, well, it's cool to do innovation, but that makes sense for the industry. And that's the reason why also we want to sell ingredients. We have a gross margin that is actually very high on this kind of product, and we can sell the product. We can actually make a product less expensive than a classic mayo. Yes?
Just to clarify, the starting protein content in algae is how much?
Well, the starting protein content will vary between, with the algae we're using, between 55% to 70%.
That's the finished product?
That's from the biomass. That's from the biomass. Then, for the ingredient, that might change a lot. That might change a lot regarding what we want to do. The example of the beverage is a good one where we don't use high rate of protein because we don't want to have a lot of protein. We want one property from this protein. But when you want high protein, well, we use a different process with up to 60% of protein into our ingredient.
And that is 55 to 70 is the dry?
Yes. Yes, when I say 55 is on the dry algae, which is actually pretty good. I'm sorry? I can't hear you. Oh, I just don't know it. Maybe you can tell me, yeah. I have another algae specialist right here. I saw him just arrived.
Protein quality. It's not very high, but depending on the species, but it's not usually complete.
I mean, okay. It depends. It depends on the strain of algae. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with this concept here. Might be a different term in French, but most of the algae will have from 18 to 22 amino acids. So it's actually to 20 amino acids. So it's actually pretty good on regarding that. We are working with algae to actually work on dairy substitutes that have a similar profile to milk. So if maybe that answered the question a little bit. To the milk protein, which is pretty good. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oil in the mayonnaise, and is it from another plant source?
Yeah, that's oil from another. That's actually sunflower oil, right here. We could use algae oil as well. It would be more expensive. Yes.
Will you guys go into algae protein isolates, or are you just going to stick with the full algae part?
We have one. We have one product. It's not available yet on the market, but we have one protein isolate. Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the competitive market, like who's like doing what, or just how do you guys position?
Yeah, this about the competition land market. It's interesting because we don't see a lot of companies doing what we do. Most of the companies will be specialized into one or two strains of algae, basically, because they will be producing the algae as well. So we work with these producers, ton of them, and they will work on the strain and on a downstream process for this very strain. The approach we have with Algama is different because we work with all the strains, and all the processes we've made are working with pretty much every kind of microalgae. That's the specificity of our process. The reason is we see very interesting algae right now, and if we speak about spirulina, it's a high rate of protein, it's a well-known algae, but at the same time this algae has a lot of limits. I mean, we are seeing a lot of limits into this algae, and we think that it's going to be very hard to reach a very interesting price point so we can make, for example, protein isolate or actual protein products. The protein is going to be way too expensive. But we see on the other hand many companies right now working on new strains that are not yet on the market, but with production process that will reach about $2 a kilogram for the biomass. And that's the kind of algae we want to work with. But since it's not on the market yet and we don't even know which algae is going to work or not work, we work on the general process that can transform all the algae. And that's what's very unique about Algama, because the other ones would be specialized.
So you have a commercial product,
Yes.
source of protein that is commercially available.
Yes. We do have a product with the source of protein available right now. And
Do you have a manufacturing site somewhere?
we mean in France, yeah. In France.
Europe?
Yes. Yes.
Have you had any challenges with scaling?
I want to say no, but that's kind of a lie. No, we managed to scale because we started to work on that since the very beginning. So we saw that would be a very big challenge. So we did put a lot of effort into that. So right now we have a production, and we have production facilities able to create a ton of products. So that's totally okay for that. I'll say that our main limits on some of the products we want to launch will be the price of the algae. That need to scale on the production side. That need to scale so we can make more ingredients, more products. For some of the products. I mean, the products we have on the market, the products we have developed already, the price point is perfect for us. I mean, everybody is making money. I'm talking about products for the future because we have further development where we can, bring a lot of novelties with the protein for example, meat substitute or fish substitute or dairy and everything. For that matter, if we want to be very competitive and actually a lower price point than what we can find right now on the market, we need to have better price. But it's for something that is not ready yet. Yes.
So how you work, if we would like to develop a product based on algae, we could come to you, then you would propose best ingredient and you could develop a process. Is that
Yes, if you want a product from algae, you can come to us and you have a product very fastly with the best algae, with the best price, and with the best kind of taste of product as well. I think we have kind of 1 minute left, maybe less, not sure.
You have the IP for the process?
Yes, we do have IP.
What about the regulatory?
The regulator?
Regulatory aspect, is it a novel ingredient or not?
Yes. I'll say it was. Right now, it's much better. It's very easy to have new strains of algae available on the market. Since right now we have many, that's not a real limit. we are working actively on that, both in the US and France and Europe actually for the regulation, but it's on the best way possible right now. And we have already many algae we can use and we are using on the market. Okay, well, thank you very much for your attention.
How are you?
Hey.
I'm Ricardo. I'm from